All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, friends. Good morning, everybody in the human race. It's wake up time. Wake up. Wake up. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope this is a good weekend for everybody, even though obviously weekends are becoming same as weekdays nowadays for my head. But yes, it's a bright, shiny day where I'm wearing my bright, shiny t-shirt. Which is given to me by Shirty. I have to mention that anybody who gives me free stuff, if I wear it, I will say it. By the way, somebody needs to sponsor the show with coffee, okay? Because I realize that I am literally having 11 types of coffees in a week. And if you're a coffee company watching this, it's wake up. Come on. I mean, this is basic stuff. Listen, okay, this show has been watched by billions of people across the universe. So, I mean, why shouldn't Martians drink Sleepy Owl? That's my question to you, Sleepy Owl people watching. Okay. Let's take a couple of comments that have popped in. Parth Kotadia says Sorabh going to divide 100 crores to all his viewers for starting the stream late. Brother, I am not getting 100 crores. I don't think. I mean, listen. I'm 1,000 crores is my minimum. Krishna Mir Puri says, "Why are you so happy and chirpy so early in the morning?" It's because I have not slept at all, which is excitement. Abhilash Ganapati says, "Did they forget to stream?" Yes, we have forgotten. This is all part of your dream. Go back to sleep. Joker says, ask him about his view on crypto. Array, there's a lot of questions. Okay. If you've just tuned into the show, let me explain what's happening if you've never seen the show before. I bring on guests who are far more intelligent and interesting than I am, and I talk to them about their lives and their journeys, and also what keeps them ticking. And also in the middle, I definitely ask at least 7 minimum stupid questions because you have to keep that going, right? And today we have Nithin Kamath, who's the founder and director of Zerodha, which is it? I think it's India's number one stock trading app, as far as I know. And we're going to get into depths. There's a lot of stuff to cover with him. He's been very kind with his time. We have 1 hour with him, so I'll ask him a bunch of questions, and then if you have questions to ask of him, please try and ask them on super chat. Ideally, if not, I will try and take it from normal chat. And yeah, I will try and get as many questions in as I can. And if you want some stock trading advice from me or just general financial planning, just let me know and I will make sure that you're bankrupt in 3 days. Okay. If you're watching this right now, please give a like. Even if you don't like it, you can dislike it later, just because that's how the algorithms work on YouTube. So give a like so that more people sort of tune in. We're up to about 200 concurrent viewers. I think we can easily get that to about 2,000. So yeah. Someone I don't know says, "Is this the richest guest on your show by far?" Listen, someone I don't know. That's literally going to be my first question. And there's no way to tabulate it, tabulate that. You know what? People who seen the show before, let me know who you think has been better off. I think it's Richard is a weird name. Okay. Just a couple of things to announce. Tomorrow we're doing a Friends reunion review. I am about an hour into the Friends reunion, and it is quite interesting. The different shapes and sizes, and I'm not body shaming anyone. It's just interesting. Like I saw Joey, and I'm like, this is me in the future. I mean, just like a chilled out, laid back guy, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, 30 minutes are left of watching that. So tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I'm going to be trying to get a bunch of comedians in to talk about it. I think so far we have Sonali Thakkar. I'm trying to ask around if you guys know anybody who is a comedian who's said anything about the Friends reunion. Let me know. I'll try and get them. So yeah, that's happening tomorrow at 11 a.m. Tonight is very exciting. I'm very excited about tonight. Have to say this, okay? A lot of you have already seen episodes of The Expert. Expert is a show where I basically talk about the news and politics and all sorts of things that are happening in the country and beyond. The idea is very simple, that I wanted to do this as YouTube live, but then I realized that there's certain things I just can't say in public anymore, because in general for years now, this has been the problem, where if you are even thinking out your thoughts in public, people are like, we disagree, get out of here, leave the country. So it's a fun show. Every week I write a brand new show where I talk about the news. Tonight in focus is going to be all the stuff that's been happening between Baba Ramdev and the IMA, which is, I mean, my God, that entire situation has gotten deeper and deeper and deeper. So tickets are for $2.99 there. It's a very cheap show. You can buy tickets on Book My Show. I put the link right there. And it's also a very interactive show. So come. If you're just feeling lonely and want to talk to people for a few seconds, please come. That's about it, guys. I have nothing else to say to you. You can support the show if you want on PayPal and Instamoja and all those things. Nifty Guru says, why isn't this on your main channel? Because my main channel was supposed to be for stand up. It's a very complicated scenario. Anyway, I'm going to bring on my guest for today. He's a founder as well as the director of Zerodha. He's also a poker player. He's interested in music. He's interested in dance, choreography. He's about to launch. He's going to compete with Elon Musk to get to Mars before him. Many things that he's up to. We're going to get into this. Nithin Kamath, how are you feeling, Nithin?
My God, thanks, Sorabh, for having me on this. Now, I think this is going to be a different kind of an interview. I can sense.
Yeah. I mean, the idea is to make it absolutely nonsensical. So, yeah. How are you doing, Nithin? How's things going for that? And by the way, this is purely coincidental that you're here right after the 100 crore announcement.
Man, yeah, as in I've had like a nightmarish night, last night with all the people reaching out to congratulate. I don't even know why people are congratulating. And I think the news really put it in a wrong light. It was 100 crore was essentially like a approval that we have taken from the board to take out salaries if required, right? And that has come across as if we have taken out 100 crores of salary. So it's and once it's out there, as in no one really cares for the details, right? As in there's a big difference of taking an approval versus actually taking out 100 crores of salary. So and and also the other thing, right, is see, in a business, when you start a business, you can make money in multiple ways, right? One is you sell stakes, as in when you grow, you keep selling a small stake at a higher valuation to someone, or you take out dividends or salaries or whatever, right? Now, in our business, we have taken the conscious choice of not raising external capital, right? So that means to take money, if the business is done well, if we have to take some money out, we have to either take as salary or take as dividends. Both very inefficient in terms of taxation, right? So
Yeah.
so you almost lose 50% of taxes by taking out money in this. So if say, assuming we did take out say 300 crores in salary amongst the family and founders, whatever, we would have given back 150 crores in taxes to the government. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's it's a very tax inefficient way. And so what generally, how founders or businesses have generally performed is, I mean, how they've taken out money is by selling small little stakes, right? So instead of doing this, we could have valued Zerodha at say 20,000 crores and sold 1% of that and paid only like 70%, 80% lesser in taxes. We could have taken that choice too, right? As in, so by taking out salary, we are essentially actually paying a lot more in taxes. But our conscious choice of not having external investors in the business has been that it's a very counterintuitive thing to say, but when you build a business, which is a B2C kind of a business, what is right for the investor is hardly ever right for the customer, right?
Right.
Right. I mean, what makes money for the business, right? As in, hardly ever makes money, is good for the customer, right? And our, the journey of Zerodha over the last 10, 11 years has been that we've grown this business to the largest in the country, taking on some of the biggest names, spending 0 rupees on marketing and advertisement, right? As in every single customer of ours, we have 5.5 million customers today, have opened an account with us, paying an account opening fees, no cashbacks, no, I'll give you a T-shirt if you open an account and stuff like that, right? Right, and everything word of mouth, not a single Google ad, nothing, right? And all of that has happened to us is because we have always consciously tried to do what is right for the customer, right? And we realized that, just to give an example, because the audience is probably young. So imagine that you go on Amazon and you're trying to buy an iPhone, and say you earn 30,000 rupees salary, right? You shouldn't be buying the iPhone. I mean, it's stupid, right? As in, you can't be spending 1
Yeah.
lakh rupee on a phone when you're having a 30,000 salary. Now, imagine Amazon said, you know what, dude, you shouldn't be buying this phone, right? Instead of saying, take this loan and buy it, right?
Right.
Uh, right. So can you be that kind of a business, right? As in, I think it's very tough to be that kind of a business if you have investors and targets in terms of revenue and growth and all of that, right? So we have taken that choice, which is to say that we will build this business without diluting stakes to investors, because as soon as we get investors, you will have obligation to grow. If you have an obligation to grow, generate revenue, you will have to do things that will compromise customer interest, right? It's a very counterintuitive, very unlike how majority of the businesses out there are working, but but running a business is like playing a sport. You need to have some kind of an edge moat, right? And for us, this is the edge, just to be able to say this, and knowing that 99% of my competition can't come and say something like this is really an edge, right? As in, so yeah, so we're that's how we're thinking about all of this, so yeah, that salary thing is just noise, like I said, it's just an approval we have taken from the board. Doesn't mean
Yeah.
that we'll take it out, but even if it did take out some, which will be a high salary, because we have to take salaries out because the business is a large business. We have ended 2021 with 1,000 crores of profits, as a business. So, if you have to take a small portion of it, we have to take out our salaries because all of us are working promoters of sorts. So.
Yeah, but I don't even get the big deal about you guys. If you are getting a salary of 100 crores, I mean, it's your company. I mean, I don't understand what the big like a furor about that is, that you guys have essentially you've started this company yourself. You've taken all these risks and all of that stuff. Like, I'm very capitalist when it comes to this kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, of course you do. I mean, the amount of, it's been 23 years since you've been
Trading, yeah.
like,
Since I
since, yeah,
started off,
trading.
yeah, when I was
Yeah.
17, I started off. So yeah, so a lot of people. No, the thing is, I think this. See, the thing is, there are a lot of startups around us. Like, today, this year, I think we had like what, 12, 13 unicorns. So there are
Yeah.
founders who are all worth hundreds of millions of dollars, right? As in, there are founders who have taken out, who've gotten exits of hundreds of millions of dollars. Right? Both those things never make it front page because. Uh, I mean, they don't take it out one shot, right? A lot of these founders, every time there's a secondary round of dilution, right? Every time a new investor comes, if they're raising $100 million in funding, they'll probably take $10 million exit for themselves, and
Yeah.
stuff like that, right? It's a small amount they're selling every time there's new money being raised, and that doesn't make really front news. I think the problem I didn't realize. Okay, see, the thing is, until we're a privately held company. We are not obligated to anyone. There's no shareholders, right? I mean, only people who are obligated to is our team. As in our team who helped us build the business, and no external person, right? As in, we are obligated as a product, etc., to our customers. But what we do with our funds is really our, like I said, it's a completely privately held business. But I do get the point, though, as in, I think this whole, the way this news came out, it's almost sounds too bold. It sounds almost rude of sorts, right? As in, like, in a world where most people don't earn a small portion of, how can does it sound really like almost rude, almost ugly of sorts, right? As in, I understand that, right? And
Yeah.
if I knew that someone's going to pick up some board resolution from our MCA website and go and print this out, we would not have done this. I mean, we would not have taken a board approval. We would have
Yeah.
figured yeah, it's just like I said. I understand why people are, some people are angry or whatever, right? They have a point of view on this, but yeah, but yeah. Now I think, it's just we learn and we grow types, right, in life.
Yeah, I mean, like, see, for me, I didn't really think it was a big amount because my annual earnings is about 98 crores, and in 98 crore Bitcoin, by the way, I've mined all of it. That's where this shirt is all about the flower. But there's a lot to unpack here, by the way. Again, if you guys would like to ask any questions, I think a lot of questions that are going to pop in are going to be about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all that. I can already see a lot of those questions popping in. If you guys can super chat it, that'll make my life a little easier because there's a lot to read through, and I have managers who don't really show up for work much, so I have to do all of that myself. But let's take a couple of steps. By the way, even if you guys get paid 100 crores, like, this is got to be somebody from the tax department going like, please do it now. Do it. And I have a clarity, by the way. You ages back, I mean, actually, a couple of weeks back, when you had done the tweet thread, by the way, where you said that it's 250% tax. Well,
Right.
what is that like? So this 250% tax on salaries, is that
Oh,
right?
no, it's not. Okay. So like I said, so if you're a promoter of a business, right? As in, say you get big, right? As in Sorabh Pant, you create your brand and it becomes a 1,000 crore brand, and assume it's making 100 crores of profits a year, right? Now, say
Yeah,
you want to, you have two ways to take money out of your business, right? One is you pay yourself a salary, right? Now, if
right.
you pay yourself a salary, you will, if you're above that 1 crore salary level, you're paying at 43% taxes, right? Now, the second way is you dividend yourself out, right? As in, I mean, if you're an active promoter, you rather take salary, right? As in, if you're an investor, you can maybe dividend out. Now, dividend, the net taxation comes to around 51%. right? Now the third way of doing it is, we both are having a conversation. You tell me, Nithin, my business is doing so well. Do you want a 5% stake in my business? I'll sell it to you for say 50 crore rupees, right? Now, so assuming we agree to this deal and say your company is 5 years old, your net taxation will be now 17%, right? So so you selling a small stake in your business, it gives you, you pay taxes at 17% versus paying it almost 50% if you're taking out salary or dividends, right? Which would you prefer?
Yeah,
Like, generally people like to take the route where they have to pay the least taxes, right? And
obviously. Yeah.
right, and you don't care if a small portion of your business is, and the funny thing, right, is this whole raising capital as a business. I mean, I can probably say it only on your show. It's like losing virginity. I mean, you only have a problem first time. So, and then and then once you've raised it once, then raising further capital is, it just becomes like a thing. You don't care about it after that. So and so yeah, so it's so for most founders, once they've raised one round of capital, then it's always this rush of continuously keep raising capital, because
Yeah.
and then every time they raise capital, they're raising it higher valuations, right? So you have to then dilute lesser now a stake to get that money out types. So yeah, the 250% was incrementally 17% taxes versus
Oh, right. Okay.
50% is
Okay.
like, 50 is 250 times of 2.5 times of 17. So.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes perfect sense. So okay, let's take a little. Rohit Sharma's is the tax system the problem with the rate of taxation? I think Nithin explained this quite well. Let's take a little bit of a step back. I think let's just start from this thing. I think what you've done is nothing short of incredible, by the way, because you've essentially been able to self finance a company which is now valued at, is the valuation of $1 billion correct? Or
I mean, we've just, see, the thing is, this is all hocus pocus. Okay, I mean, like, you
right?
can come up with any valuation you want, but
Huh.
we have compared ourselves to the largest listed player, you know, and this year we're doing a buyback from our employees, from the team, stock options at a $2 billion valuation, but potentially we could be a larger business in terms of valuation, right? Because if we were to be valued in the way the ecosystem is getting valued, we potentially are a lot more valued. But we are kind of, as a, I think as an ecosystem, we are in a phase where I think we're not, I don't know, I mean, which part of the bubble territory, but it does seem like it's in a bubble territory where valuations are off whack everywhere, especially in the private space. So yeah, so I mean, you can say that we are at least a $2 billion business today.
Wow, so it's double what so yeah, which leads to the very tasteless question which somebody asked earlier, which is, are you the richest person to come on the show? And the answer is probably yes. I think we'll have to go through all the previous. There's like they've been almost 300 guests, so we'll have to go through them, and I'll have to ask each of them, hey, listen, can you send me your ITRs for the last 3 years, and you as well.
Yeah, no, the ITR won't capture this valuation. A lot of this valuation, right,
Yeah.
is just like I said, is in thin air, right? I mean, tomorrow morning there could be a regulation that brings our business down by 75% in valuation, or tomorrow morning there could be a stock market crash, and a lot of our activity could just drop off, right? So we are a very high risk business in that sense, because our all our fortunes is dependent on the performance of the underlying stock markets. That's and which is not in our control. A lot of times people ask me, dude, what's your 3-year plan, 5-year plan? I'll be like, dude, I don't know what'll happen Monday. I mean, forget 3 years, 5 years. So yeah, so it's a very tricky kind of a business to be in. As in, no one cared about this business for 10 years. Okay, I mean, like, through my life, right? As in, I started trading when I was 17. Like, people told me to go get a real job for like 20 years of my life, right? And then suddenly, the business did well, and like suddenly, like, everyone wants to listen to what I what I got to say. So, it's a yeah. So like I said, it's a very cyclical kind of a thing. Stock markets, it's not like a it's not like a thing that you don't get up one day wanting to buy stocks. Right? It's not like
Right.
it's not like a push, like a pull product. It's more like a push product, right? There has to be some like greed in the system, etc., which enables you to, like, like, you get up, you look at a news, it says stock markets are at all-time highs, or Bitcoin is at all-time highs. It's it's gone up 10,000%, right? That is what triggers you into thinking about Bitcoin, right? As otherwise, when Bitcoin was at $1 for like 5 years, no one really cared about Bitcoin, right? As in,
Right.
right? So it's so, and as soon as it starts trending down, you can see the activity drop off, right? As in, and it drops off significantly. For example, in 2007 was the last time there was a real bull market, right? As in before the financial crisis, when the markets were really flying high. The number of accounts that were opened in 2007, uh, the industry could match up to it only in 2018, right? So it took 10 years to get back to the old high, right?
Wow.
Because there was like this whole period where markets really didn't perform. So it's that way, a really high risk business for us. So while we are quite hot today, I know that we could be very cold tomorrow morning,
Yeah, and so what I'd love to know from you is that to start to sort of have the gumption to stick with something like Zerodha, and I think having listened to a bunch of your interviews, I mean, it wasn't like there was insane success initially, but it went well, right?
Right.
When you and your brother started together, it went well. So in this entire journey, like right, to turn what, and I love the story where it's like we turned zero to whatever $2 billion,
Yeah.
and it's rarely zero because you need some capital. You can't
Right.
just start a
Right.
business with
Right.
zero, but whatever amount you started with. What I'd like to know is that what were the, like, was there any point during this entire journey, and I'm working with your brother, where you were like, this is not happening.
Right.
This is, dude, we can't sustain this in the long run.
Yeah. No, see, Zerodha started in 2010. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's how people remember, like, it's a 10-year-old business, etc. But I think personally, I think Zerodha really started the day I started trading, which was around 98, right? I was 17 or whatever. And most of my quitting points in life was actually in the journey before Zerodha starting. So I kind of went bust in 2001, went work in a call center for 3-4 years. And I mean, those were the times where, I was like, dude, the fuck am I doing types, So, and,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. And there were generally, all my friends and family who kept telling me, dude, this is not something that you should be doing. Go finish college, go join job, get a software job. I mean, being in Bangalore, I'm from a Brahmin family and etc. Right. So I think at that time it was a lot of stupidity, right? I mean, I keep talking about this, that there is a very thin line between stupidity and passion. It works out, they call you passion, otherwise you're being called stupid, right? As in, so a lot of my, early part of my life was just generally being stupidly passionate. So in 2006, in 2007, 2006, 7 is when, so even before Zerodha, I was very active in terms of interacting with other traders online. So I always had this key of trying to share knowledge and all of that, so I had some of the largest Yahoo Messenger group, Orkut communities, all in my pseudonym, because I used to be a sub broker to a larger brokerage firm. So I didn't want, when I say something, that legacy of that broker to come through. So there was always this thing, like that whole bonding. It's like, in Bangalore, I had like few friends who loved rock music, loved beer, so they went up, set up pubs. Right, Zerodha
Yeah.
was like that, right? As in, like, I love trading. I had, like, all this interaction with traders, and we said, you know what, we need to put up a brokerage firm which is different from the traditional ones, who are, because traditionally financial services firms are very cold in the way they work, right? As in, they, like your banks, your NBFCs, they don't care about you, right? As in, they're just there to make a buck in whatever way as possible, right? And when we started Zerodha in 2010, the cost of trading was quite high, right? So for us, that was essentially how the idea got triggered. And Nikhil joined me in like 2006, 7. He's 7 years younger to me. He's a much better trader than I am, right? And one of the reasons for Zerodha starting is the day I realized that he's a better trader than I am, and it didn't make sense for me to sit and trade, right? So
Right.
that's, because you don't need two people to trade, right? Trading is like, instead of, say, if you have 1 lakh, I have 1 lakh, say we both are brothers, we are sitting and trading, instead of that, I can give you 1 lakh rupees and say, dude, you're a better trader, why don't you trade? Let me go do something else in life, right?
Yeah.
So that's essentially how Zerodha started off. And the initial capital, so we had done well in 2008 when the market crashed, right? So we were short on the markets, we made some money, etc. And we started the business with, to become a stockbroker, you have to park some deposits with the stock exchanges. to get a membership, like how banks have to have a certain amount of collateral and, net worth and etc. So you need, so we, funnily, we started our business as a partnership firm because the net worth requirement for a partnership firm was much lesser than a private limited company, right? So we only converted our partnership firm to a public limited company in 2019 March, right? So until then, we essentially had a stealth mode, right? As in, there was no board resolution, of 100 crore salary and all that bullshit, right? As in, you could essentially, and we enjoyed stealth, but so from the day Zerodha started, there were like a bunch of tipping points, but nothing, asked me, right? There was no point where, where I said, dude, I want to stop all of this, or it's a breaking point. I mean, we've had days where we have had tech issues, so platforms down. I get like 1,000 emails calling me cheat con fraud, right? I mean, and that hurts you more because you're doing all of this thinking of your customers more as your friends and family, right? As in, like, because not a single thing that we've done as a business, right? Every new initiative, new product is always kept in custom. We first think if it's going to help the customer before we even think if it is going to help a business or not, right? Like I told you about the Amazon, which says don't buy the iPhone because you don't earn that much salary. We essentially have been running the business like that. As in, we actually get our customers not to trade, right? Saying that, dude, you know what, just be smart about it and don't do this. And we let go of revenue for that, right? And between all of this, there are issue days. I mean, I might have felt really frustrated, but I usually end up bouncing back 2-3 2-3 days. So but looking back, I think, why is it like that, right? As in, why is that I'm able to bounce back? Because I can see a lot of my peers who get affected and etc. And I think, because there are young folks listening to it, I think, I didn't intentionally do it, but I think the reason I've survived 23 years of this and still feel as if it's the first day of my life and starting my career is because I'm building a career around something that I love to do, right? And which is, and it's not like I picked it up, right? As it's not like, it was out of the right place, right time, luck, whatever you can call it, right? As in, but I think really that has to be, I think, the goal for most of us, right? Like, to figure something that you love to do and build a career around it. And then, your odds of getting this outsized returns increases significantly eventually, right? I mean, it took 20 years, right? As in, it didn't happen, like, a lot of people don't understand there's 20 years that has gone before, or 23 years, and a lot of right place, right time that has happened before whatever's happened in a sim.
Right. So it's so interesting that you said that you started. I think you're also 1981. Oh, hi. Oh, what is written there? I'll have to rewatch the video to see what she's written there. World's most handsome broker.com. Like, oh yeah. Of course, yeah. I have been to that website. Thanks for the pitch. Yeah. I've been to the website world's most handsome broker.com, and it's just I would suggest everybody go to world's most handsome broker.com, which is started by somebody at Zerodha. I like how she's pitching it nicely. This is perfect.
No, that's my son. It's Kian. So the thing is, Kailash, Karthik, who are who are close friends, family, who are part of the business. They are at home, so I think they are fooling around. So they must have sent him with that sheet.
Listen, I had asked who's the guy who was coordinating with? I've forgotten his name only now. So I had asked Som for some information. Hey, can you give me some information about Nithin and blah blah blah? And this, amongst the 3 things he sent me, one of the top tier things was world's most handsome broker.com. I'm like, yeah, this is the right kind of research. It's so interesting that you started trading at the age of 17. I think you're also 81 born, right?
79 born. No.
79. So oddly enough, I started like trading at the age of 18 without really realizing much and on the basis of advice from people around me. Right. And now that I think about it, talking to you, I'm like, I think that was way more profitable than my current career.
Come on.
I should have just continued.
Influencers today are killing it. I'm sure,
And but okay, I want to take a lot of chats are popping in. I'll just read a couple of super chats. Again, if you guys are watching, please do give a like. I have a couple of questions, then I'll come to a lot more of your questions as well. Devi Kram, Jay says, hi Nithin, big fan from Bengaluru, doing a lot of research on the Zerodha business/marketing model. Looking forward to meeting you sometime. The marketing model is really fascinating to me, and I think you've covered this quite a few times, right? You know what, like, and you know how selfish subconsciously we are as human beings, right? In my head, every time I interview somebody who's a CEO or a founder or whatever, I'm like, hey man, eventually I'll get marketing funds from them for videos, and then I realize you don't have any marketing. Like, what is the point of this? Yeah, so has it ever been, I mean, I know that you've said repeatedly that it's about getting the first 10,000 customers, and then the word of mouth spreads and people say that, hey, listen, come join this, and this is how you do the trading and stuff like that. But has there ever been a point where you thought that we need to reach a new sort of genre of customers, and then we really need to market, or no?
Yeah. No, see, firstly, why no marketing, right?
Yeah.
You see today, the reason we can come out and claim we don't market is because we have a superior product. Now, I have a vested interest in saying it, but Kailash, who our CTO, right? I mean, I think he's just, as a, like I keep talking that he's like one proper X-Men type guy, So he and the team of our tech team has just built like this product, which has got a really large distance over competition. Like, like Tesla doesn't advertise, right? Doesn't market,
Yeah.
right? Because you have like a product going, and then the product itself is doing its talk. In today's world, where everyone's so closely connected on social media, if you can offer a good product, I don't, and if you can maintain some distance on your competition, I don't really think you really need to market, right? As in, marketing is advertisement is ends up becoming important when you have a commoditized kind of a product, where your competitions are neck to neck in terms of what in terms of their offering. Then whoever spends more kind of tends to win, right? Uh,
Right.
the other angle to this though, which is to we could market to go after a new audience, right? As in create this Kida of stock markets and people who currently don't have the stock market Kida, right? So now the problem with that is that consciously we feel it's not a right thing to do, right? As in stock market has its risks, right? As in, like, we don't want to go out and tell someone who doesn't understand stock market saying come trade with us and you'll start making money in the market, because you can't, right? As in 99% of the people who come like that, thinking that it's stock market is like an easy place to make money, they're absolutely wrong. So so we don't want, I mean, right now we don't even have a product to solve for it. Today at Zerodha, right, all our products are around people who have an intent to trade the markets or who have an intent to learn about stock markets, right?
Right.
Now we don't still have a product that can help someone who doesn't have an intent to trade or invest, right? Of course, I can right now sell you something and say, what, tomorrow morning log into a platform and do this and you'll make money, but you'll not, I mean, to be very honest, I mean.
Right. Right. Right.
So so we don't still have a product which is a product that we can go out and sell to people saying, dude, just come take this product and it'll somehow help you become smarter in terms of your money. And the day we have it means that our target audience then expands, right? As in, now your kind of your audience is not maybe that 1 crore Indians who have target intent to invest. Maybe it's now the 10 crore Indians. Now once your target audience expands is when it even makes sense to go out and advertise, right? And so that's how we've been thinking about it. And also about the other thing that we realize with this not marketing angle is, like, and we're probably the only broker who charges an account opening fees, right? As in, like, in a world where everyone's throwing goodies to open an account. So a lot of people ask me, what is CAC? I say, dude, we make money on every account customer, right? Like CAC
Right.
is like a cost of acquisition, right? And
Yeah.
so a lot of businesses spend a lot of their fundraising on acquiring new customers, right? And that's why they're continuously funding. So we charge 200 rupees on an account opening. So we are actually making $200 per account. So we are a positive, or a, like a negative CAC or whatever. So which is how we can even not go out and do fundraising, right? Because most people who are raising funds today are raising funds because the cost of acquisition of a customer is quite high, right? So yes, if someone's got an intent to build a business, just focus on your product and try to build a product that really has some distance over your competition, right? If you don't have that distance on your competition, you have to go get deep pockets. I mean, there is really only two ways to become big in business, right? Either build something which is extremely better quality, or just go and spend stupid amounts of money which your competition can't compete with, right? The world is kind of in that place, right? As in, there is no in between. I mean, the in between guys essentially ends up perishing right now. So especially when you're in a high cost kind of a business. So yes, that's really how we're thinking of marketing. But that said, like Varsity, which is our education portal,
Yeah.
is probably the third or fourth largest education portal on capital markets around the world. Now, if you go to
Right.
Varsity, right, we don't ask if you're a Zerodha customer, right? We don't ask you for your mobile number, mobile or email, and send an email saying open an account. Only then you can read this content. If you go to Varsity, you will see buy Zerodha somewhere on the top left corner, right? There is no big ad saying Zerodha zero brokerage, etc. Right? It's a very counterintuitive way of marketing, right? You almost and we all put Karthik, who's built this, is just puts in so much effort to run this, right? And with zero expectation, right? There is absolute no expectation when we are doing that work. And uh, and I think you almost kind of shock a customer to figure out, dude, why is someone doing this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this platform build this content and then answers all my queries on time, gets links to all these things, and without asking me if they're a customer, without spamming me with some marketing email, right? As in, why are they doing it? And Varsity has just grown for us. I mean, I think for us it's been one of the best, I don't know, like a marketing kind of exercise that we've done without, I mean, we spent shitloads of time and effort on it. And it's, you can't buy that with money, so it's a much
Yeah.
harder way of trying to grow the business, but it's a more organic way. And then once you start growing, the organic way compounds very easily, right? With this whole marketing way, the day you stop marketing, you suddenly see a dip, right? As in, but in this
Right.
organic way, it's a more steady, more slow, more sustainable way of growing a business.
And
It's
it's
all, as I said, it's all very counterintuitive to a lot of what businesses are doing today, but it's worked out well for us. So.
Yeah, and it's great the reverse psychology, because as a customer, you're like, wait, 1 second, you're not spending money to get me, and you're charging me to get to me. Like that's, and then you're like, maybe this is worth something. So it's great. It's a
Yeah,
great strategy. It's like,
yeah.
yeah,
I'll give you an
okay,
analogy, right? As in,
yeah,
you're in the 70s, 80s kind of kid, right? So, remember those pubs, etc., who allowed stags, and there were pubs which had only had cover charge, right? Now,
yeah.
which pubs had better quality crowd, right? As in,
Yeah.
right? As in,
It's that assumption which made you think that this is worth something because I put money in.
and
Yeah,
then because
and
everyone is going and paying that money, right? So let me go
yeah,
see what's happening inside.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I've discovered that with this. I've started doing a show which is on Book My Show, and there's just a ticket thing for something which I would probably have done on a YouTube live,
mhm.
but immediately the quality of the show is also better because I'm like, oh wait, people have paid money to see this. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot of questions. I had a bunch of questions of my own, but I'm just going to like sort of ask them a little later. We have Doha's Lyrics, who has a question, who says top three traits for a founder starting from ground zero. I like how you use the word zero there as well. Dohas, are there three traits you require? I mean, or what would be like three traits that you think are useful?
I mean, I don't know, you can 3, 5, 1, whatever. And see, I think firstly, it's about before building a business, you need to firstly, I think, improve. See, the thing is, it's almost like playing poker, right? As in, you need to do stuff that can improve your odds of succeeding, right? And there's no guarantees, right? I mean, I think the key ingredient in all of this is, like, if you're making a curry, how salt is really the key ingredient, right? As in, so right place, right time is super important in all of this, right? And you can't really control outcomes when you're building a business, and you need to firstly be ready with that, the fact that you can't control the outcome, right? It's not like school where you studied a book and you could, you studied harder, you can go score higher in the exam, right? As in,
Yeah,
there's no way to control that outcome in this, right? So there is so we, just to be wired like that is I think is a very important part of being an entrepreneur, not to be worried about outcomes, right? As in, because if you're worried about outcomes, you're going to keep having, like, every other day there's going to be some disaster somewhere in the business, right? As in, if you're someone who keeps getting worried, you're going to burn out really fast. And businesses are not built, I mean, of course some people get lucky and build large businesses in quick time, but generally businesses take a long time to build. And so you need to make sure you have that energy to sustain. And yeah, so the way you look at risk to reward and all of that, I think you need to be as stoic as possible. So that's probably an important quality. Second, like I said already, which is build a business around what you love doing. So I think firstly it's about figuring what you love to do in life, right? And most people spend their whole life before they even get to know what that is. right? And I
Right.
got extremely lucky that, like stock markets, trading, etc. I mean, is something that I love to do, and I somehow ended up picking it up quite early in my life. And I was stupid enough to pursue it for a long period, even though it didn't work. So yeah, I think it's about that. And three is, I think, before building a business, like like they say, right, you need to sharpen the axe before you go chopping wood. I
Right.
think
Yeah.
before building a business, you need to first build the core competencies, right? Of go work, like like before Zerodha, there was 12, 13 years of trading, being associated with sub brokers, interacting with customers and all of that, right? And then Zerodha happened, and then 10, 11, after maybe 7 years of Zerodha, there was some success, right? Doesn't so so when you're if you want to sharpen the axe after starting a business, it is you're already burning someone else's money or whatever, right? As in, it's stuff. So my advice generally is, if you've figured out what you love or what you like, try to go find a job, you know do something in that, right, which doesn't uh, require you to take large amounts of risk. And maybe the last thing, which makes it four, is to understand that you need to bet in life to win, right? I mean, because a lot of people assume that you can win without taking bets, so it doesn't happen like that, doesn't. So you should be
Yeah.
constantly taking bets, because a lot of people fear outcomes and never take bets, right? But the other side of this is that every time you take a bet, you need to make sure that if there is a bad outcome, it is not big enough to bring you down completely, right?
Yeah.
So bets have to be taken such a way that uh, uh, you know like each bad outcome can't really destroy you, and take you a long time to come back up in life. Maybe all of these, uh, and you have this goddess luck smile at you. Maybe then there is a chance of building a good business, large
I mean,
business.
it's very humble of you to not say handsomeness and then pitch worldshandsomestbroker.com as one of the traits that you need. I have a question, which is that, I mean, and I don't know how far this is related to what Zerodha does, which is that in 2019, I think when Robinhood had that issue with an outage on I think the biggest trading day in Dow Jones, and it caused a lot of sort of issues. And Robinhood would be roughly the same zone as what you guys do. So
Right.
is there anything that like I'm assuming obviously you guys were watching that very closely. Is there anything you learned from that particular outage and or all of that you sort of implemented into your business, or
No, no. I mean, we have had our
yeah,
own outages. We didn't have to learn
right,
from them, so we have learned from.
yeah,
So, uh, no, no. See, the thing is, I think for us, 2016, what happened was this whole Aadhaar onboarding, etc., started, right? And
yeah,
2016 is also when we launched our product, Kite, which is our web and mobile app, right? And so until 2016, opening an account was a 40-page documents. That means new account openings were happening at a very slow pace. And
right,
then Aadhaar onboarding, all of that happened, right? Your account opening is 15 minutes now, right? So suddenly, 2017, 18, we had this problem with scale, right? So suddenly our business grew much faster than in which we could potentially scale our infra, because we never thought we can suddenly grow so fast. And in a business of stockbroking, the underlying infra, expanding it is not very easy, because we have dependencies on stock exchanges and data centers, and pulling lease lines and etc. You can't just be on cloud, for example, right? As in, today every
yeah,
business is on the cloud, and you can go up and down in terms of your capacities really fast, right? But for us, our core infra, which is because the orders that when you place an order on our trading app, it goes to our data center. From there, it has to go to the exchange, and that last mile has to be a physical setup. So you can't just expand, you can't just add more servers on the fly types, right? So yeah, so we've had we've had our own Robinhood, whatever, 2019, many of those actually. But thankfully, we learned, and we've like the last 2 years plus, so like last year was probably the most volatile stock markets have ever been, right? When all this COVID, etc., was happening, and also participation wise, number of trades wise, I mean, it was just incredible. And last year, touchwood, we had almost zero incident types, um, so yeah, so no, I mean, that's a problem in this business, right? Our business, the markets open at 9:15, closes
yeah,
at 3:30, right? So your business is essentially in that 6 hour kind of a window, right? And within the 6 hour window, the first 30 minutes and the last 30 minutes gets almost 25, 30% of the activity. And
Right.
because as soon as market opens, everyone's in a rush to do something. Just before market closing, everyone's in a rush to do something, right? So and and we have dependencies on multiple things for order executions on our platform, right? So I think stock trading, building a stock broking app is probably one of the most complex financial products that you can be built, because it's also live, right? As in, you can't be delayed even by a second. Like for a banking app, if say you're
Yeah.
making a payment, if there is a delay, you don't care. I mean, you'll retry it, right? But here, if you retry, the stock price is moved, so you have a notional profit and loss, right? And for the customer, he doesn't care if, if my connectivity is down, exchange is down. I mean, like, recently we had this episode where, our exchanges were down, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we were trending on Twitter. I'm like, dude, so like, it's not us. I mean, you have, when you come place an order on the exchange, on our platform, it has to go to the exchange. The exchange has to be
Yeah.
working fine for the orders to go through. So, no, it's a tough word. It's not easy at all. And see, social media has helped us grow significantly, but dude, it's a double-edged sword, right? As in, the day stuff goes bad, I mean,
Yeah.
it gets really bad. So like there
Yeah.
are,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
quite intense.
that I'm fully aware of. Like because I can understand the sort of the sort of intricacies and the time management, because I think wasn't that that's the I mean that thing where they said that people who the stockbrokers was sitting closer to the this thing in Nasdaq or whatever get is like a 0.01 advantage of per second, and
Yeah,
that affects trade by like some insane amount.
yeah,
I'm like, wow, dude, this is
yeah,
really
yeah.
specific stuff.
No, US that way is, like in terms of customer retail investor protection, India
Hmm.
is infinitely better than the US, right? Because in the US, there are so many lobbyists who are always queuing rules and regulations towards, businesses, right? So it's, US is like land of opportunities and etc. I mean, it's just all the rules are in favor of businesses of sorts. India SEBI has done a phenomenal job, right? As in terms of retail investor protection. And so a lot of things that you see that happen in US, be it GameStop, be it,
Yeah.
I mean, be it, like for example, Robinhood, etc. They all make money by selling the order flow to high frequency trading desks, right? In India, I mean, it seems like a really bad practice, right? In India, all the orders, when you place an order on our trading app, it's going to the stock exchange. It's not going to some third party who then decides where it has to go, right?
Right.
So yeah, so it's that way. I think, we're all kind of have to be lucky for having our regulators, doing whatever they've done over the last many years.
Yeah, the GameStop thing was a very interesting one, because I asked so many people this question about like, will there be an Indian GameStop? And like, dude, it's not possible. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, okay, great. Okay, if you're watching, please do give a like so that more viewers pop in. We're almost up to 1,000 concurrent views right now, so that's great. Thanks a lot. I hope you're enjoying it. Okay, I'll take a couple of questions popping in, which is. By the way, is a easy product sell, because I know that you guys have either launched or are in the midst of launching this. Meow Meow has asked a question, which is, when is Zerodha coming up with mutual funds, and what kind of schemes can we expect from Zerodha? You just launched it right now, right? Or
Oh,
is it
no, no.
on
I
its way?
mean, we've applied for an asset management license. So
Right,
we are waiting for the approval. So, I mean, we can only launch it once there is approval in place. But I think, I mean, the way in broking, we've done some decent things, in terms of product innovation. I think there is opportunity to do some of that in the mutual fund space as well, offer better mutual funds to customers of sorts. Because today, mutual fund investing is a very complex activity, especially for millennials, and or even actually for my dad, who's not a millennial. It's a like, you log in, there is hybrid funds, there are, balance funds, there is advantage. I mean, like, it's just complex. Everything is complex, right? And there is a reason for those complexities, right? Because mutual funds historically have made a lot of money every time they've done, say, for example, a new fund offer, right? So there is an incentive to just launch a random fund, right?
right.
Which may be exactly the same thing as something else, but just rebrand it and just launch it, because a new fund gets a lot of activity, right? As in, gives opportunity for the business to make some commission. So yeah, I mean, there are some of those practices. I think we can come and just simplify mutual fund investing. And also, our plan with mutual fund is not to go try to build another product for existing mutual fund investors, because there is already 40 AMCs and there are enough and more. So what we are trying to figure is that, like, remember I was talking about that product that we can sell to everyone,
Yeah.
like that, like, because today at Zerodha we don't have a product. If I saw you on the street, there's nothing I can come walk up to you and say, what, do this. You don't have to do anything else. We don't really have that. As in, we are hoping that this mutual fund can be one of those products that we can go and mass market of sorts. So,
It's so interesting that you mentioned the different variants. So I thought for the longest time that I had invested in a mutual fund, and then I spoke to Pranjal Kamra, and he's like, "Dude, there was a life insurance. That's what they disguised it as." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" And then I checked. I'm like, "Shit, yeah, I've done this 3 times now. I've invested in something I thought was a mutual fund. It turns out to something completely different." Okay, a lot of people, by the way, are absolutely losing it, and they've asked, and I'm sure you get this question like about 50 times a day, which is about trading in cryptocurrency and all of that. So I mean, it's actually the question I'm assuming that you get asked the most right now, because people just think that, hey, listen, as soon as cryptocurrency trading starts, day after tomorrow I will just be a billionaire. So what is your opinion on how cryptocurrency functions? And I think you mentioned before that it's not something you want to trade in because you don't entirely understand how it functions. But what do you is this something that you are ever planning to create something for, or what is your opinion on it?
yeah. No, I mean, see, the thing is, like, personally, I've never really understood, or maybe I haven't given enough time to understand, but I don't really understand what is the use case for cryptos.
Right.
So like I still can't figure that out. The Now if it is trading, it's doing well, it turns into an asset class. It doesn't matter if I understand or not understand. If our customers want it, we have to offer it, right?
Right.
So and for us to be able to offer, we need explicit regulations that allows us to offer, right? As in, so in India, there's no regulation that allows us to offer, so we'll not be able to do it. Now the thing is, can it be regulated? I don't know how, right? Because if you kind of go back to crypto and and figure out how does say tomorrow if a government wants to regulate it, how will they do it, right? It's very, I mean, the day you start regulating crypto, I mean, it loses the whole crypto. I mean, the reason why people are going to crypto, right? Doesn't so yeah, so I think, unfortunately, I don't know when we'll be able to offer crypto as a platform, because I don't see how regulations ever will come out that will allow us to do it, right? And personally, I've stayed away. I mean, I had crazy opportunities to get into some of these really large exchanges. I mean, one of the largest, Bitcoin investors in the world, who also runs a really large, VC fund. He had invited me to the US, I think 4 years back, etc. He had given me a Bitcoin in a physical form, like a coin. I don't know where it is.
What?
Yeah.
So you have a Bitcoin just lying around the house somewhere.
No, it's not in the house. No, I mean, we shifted houses and all. I don't know where, because see, it was like one of those, like, it looked like a coin, and
Right.
it really had a token inside. So he had said, dude, like he had invested in a company which was doing this. He said, why don't you keep this? I think it was around $300 or something at that time, and and yeah, so
Listen, I think if you find this like 3 years later, that's your 100 crore salary right there. Like, or zero, depending on how Bitcoin goes.
no,
Yeah.
but I think, the thing about a lot of people who think that you can trade your way to become a billionaire or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the toughest way in world to make money, dude. As in, like, a lot of people, be it crypto, be it stocks, be it derivatives, be it whatever, right? Like, trading and making money is probably the toughest way to make easy money. Right? A lot of people come to the stock markets thinking that there is a way to make easy money. I think you can make easy money buying lotteries, but you can't make
Yeah.
easy money trading the market. Because see, when you buy a lottery, right, assuming you hit a jackpot, right, you hit $100 million jackpot, you're not going to use your $100 million jackpot to buy more $100 million worth of lotteries, right? I mean, you want to take that money and do something else with it. But the problem with trading is, if you made an outsized return, right, you want to use it for trading again, right? So you're not going to just take that money and say, what, I'm going to keep it somewhere else, right? That's not how traders work, right? So
Right.
you're gonna go from Bitcoin to Doge, or Doge to fucking Shibu or Shaba, or whatever, right? As in, eventually, you're gonna get caught somewhere. As in, it's
Yeah.
there is nothing, as in, because in trading, in a business of trading, it's a zero sum game, right? As in, uh, like, of course, in Bitcoin, you're investing, everyone's holding long asset, etc. But now that there are derivatives on Bitcoin, etc., it's become a zero sum game, right? As in, while in India we can only invest, but if you actually look net, there is a lot of speculative trading that's happening in Bitcoin and crypto already, right? There are long people, there are short people. Long, market goes down, the long loses money, short makes money, short if market goes up, he loses money, etc. In that zero sum game, it's almost like you're fighting, you're this guy who's trying to, trying to do a 100-meter race with Usain Bolt and somehow expecting you to be winning that. So
Yeah.
so it's a tough one. So it's
And in the middle of that race, there's just Elon Musk either trying to trip you or take you by plane somewhere to the end. Like I want to have that kind of power where you can just tweet or show up at SNL and the Bitcoin rates go like wildly in that direction.
I think it must be, I don't know, like the way he's constantly coming and feeding news. It feels almost like he's enjoying that, right? As in just
Yeah.
just
He's just messing with people's heads. He's like, oh, this is going up? No, it's going down tomorrow. Let me tweet something. Yeah. Okay, we have questions popping in from Akhil Pisharodi. Hi, Akhil, how are you doing? He says, when you're a big trader, can you pump and dump? What
what's
is
the
that?
pump? Yeah.
Yeah, because like as for listen, I know it from a like parenting POV. I don't know if you, I mean, I assume that it's fine. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who do that on the stock exchange, but yeah, what does that even mean?
Yeah. No, in pump and dump, like traditionally the way it's worked is, I don't know if you've seen this movie called Boiler Room. It's a really nice stock market movie. Vin Diesel in it. It's, if you guys want, to learn about pump and dump, I think they're probably one of the best movies to watch. I mean, even Wolf of Wall Street has done it in some form, but
Yeah.
right. But I think Boiler Room is really a classic way of doing pump and dump. Pump and dump is essentially, right, as in there are companies which have no business, right? So what I mean, this is not something that traders do. Okay, this is something, there is this crowd of operators, etc., who are trying to manipulate and etc. As in they will end up buying a lot of stock of a company which probably is zero value or a little value, and then feed news, tips, blah 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 in the market, and constantly keep buying stocks and keep, which keeps it going up. Once it goes up, there's this whole distribution phase, which is you sell. The guy who's holding a lot of stock, let's say a stock went from zero to say 1 rupee to 100 rupees. At 100 rupees, you sell say 10% of what you have, right?
Yeah.
It'll automatically drop. It'll come to 90, 80. And that's when retail investors lose their, pants. In a sense, not pants, they lose their mind because, we all have this crazy attraction towards sale, right? When something's available at discount, right, you lose your mind. You don't, just because the stock was at 100, at 80 rupees, you think it's very cheap, right? And then and then you have this rush of first timers saying, you know what, dude, it's at 80 rupees. It'll go back to 100. I'll make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it'll get this whole distribution phase where there are all these discount seekers, right? People who seek out for sales and discount, they will come in and buy more of it. And then the guy who took the price up all the way down from up, he's constantly selling it and feeding it to them when this distribution is happening. Don't ask me what other asset class sounds like this, So, so, but it happens
Yeah.
quite often in stock markets. It also happens in other asset classes. So,
Yeah, and this cuts back to I think what you said quite a few times again, which is that people who are conservative make more money in the long run. And I couldn't agree with this more because I remember that when like for the brief period for about 4 years when I was trading with the help of people's advice, you were not like just buying stock and then waiting for it to this thing. You're just keeping stuff which you believed in,
yeah.
and then you'd have dividends and you'd have the rest of that stuff coming in, and that's how you do it. Or whatever. I mean, I'm sure there's better ways. Yeah.
No, but thing is that, I don't think everyone has the patience to invest, wait for dividends. I mean, like everyone's in a rush to make money fast, right?
Right.
So there is a way to make money actively trading as well, which is, you're constantly buying, selling, etc. But that's a very high skill job.
Yeah.
It's like, not everyone's wired for it, right? As in not like how not everyone can just become a comedian, right?
I mean, everybody can. It's like that's literally it's the one job where you require no intelligence. So this thing you just pop in and we're done. Yeah.
I think being funny is probably one of the toughest things to do. So it's you're just being very modest about it. I think I think it's extremely skillful kind of a job. Musicians, sports people. I mean, like that, right? Trading is also very. You need to be born with a certain. You should have it some kind of a genetic lottery and born with some skill set to be a good trader, right?
Right.
But what makes trading seem why people get attracted to trading is it's very easy to get into that profession, right? As in, unlike a comedian, right? I mean, if you're a bad comedian, you run a show, no one's going to turn up. or if
Yeah.
they turn up, they might not turn up twice, right? But in trading, anyone can open an account, anyone can fund it, right? Anyone can trade, right? And that ease of access is what makes trading very risky, right? Because you could be really bad at trading and somehow still be in this whole illusion that you're good, and and get sucked into this whole greed fear cycle, and which is what makes trading very very scary and tough, because while, say, for example, right, while we talk about startups, very few succeed, a lot of them fail, uh,
Yeah.
but starting up is a complex activity, right? As in, you can't just
Right.
you have to go register a business, you have to go raise some money, I mean, you have to set up an office, all of that, right? As in, so not everyone can just start up, even though the odds of succeeding trading the markets, the odds of succeeding starting up is almost the same, probably
Right.
1% or lesser, right? And but trading is so much more easier, so a lot more people just end up trading the markets, so,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it seems like on the outside because you've heard of somebody like this. There's always some friend of yours who's like, "Arey, I made this much," and you're like, "Oh, you made this much? Now I'll make $10.5 million day after tomorrow."
Yeah,
I mean,
the
yeah,
funny thing is, I usually do this, right? Whenever I meet a trader, I ask him to, are you in profit or loss? It's like profit. I say, like for what time period? So, because no one likes to say I lose money in the markets, right? So everyone's,
yeah,
picks up their, like that the short time period where they potentially would have made money and say, you know what, I made profit. No, I think trading is extremely tough. It's it takes a lot of discipline, a lot of skill, a lot of every day growing as a intellectually, as a professionally, in whatever way, right? As in reading a lot. Trading isn't easy. It just feels very easy, but it isn't. So,
I completely agree. I've seen people who like tracking the markets and then going through like watching CNBC and then like I remember all of that. Like we worked at CNBC for a while.
yeah,
Like Veerdas and we had a show at CNBC, and I used to see the absolute pandemonium around me.
yeah.
And I was like, this is overwhelming. This requires a tremendous amount of skill and research and
No,
intelligence to
no,
get
the
it
thing
right.
is, to be very honest, right? Like watching CNBC is probably not really going to help you become a better trader.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. No, but I'm saying,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah.
like thing is, a lot of people think like looking at stock price moving and looking at a TV channel or reading news is going to just help you get better. No, it's not. I mean, it's almost like, if you, it's it's just
It's
like it's the thing that everyone should do in life. It's not just about trade. I know, like watching news, reading news is like it's not going to help you make a trader, because that's supposed to be a bare minimum you need to do in your life. So
yeah.
right, it takes a lot more than that to be able to do well trading the markets.
Okay, Nathan, how much time do you have?
We can do another 5-10 minutes, I guess.
Okay, super. So I'll just try and we can try and race through a lot of questions popping in. Nish Whitey has a question. I think he's from the UK. He says, "Please NRI ke liye or bank link available karo." These are just demands now. These are not even questions. They're like demands. Like parso se chalu kar. Okay, Rakesh Kulkarni has a different question. You and your brother played chess at a high level. Did chess help you in your Zerodha journey/life?
No, I mean, hindsight bias, right? You can say all random things help you in life, So,
Yeah.
so no, I mean, people make stories of it, but I don't know. I mean, I haven't really played high, like Nikhil played like a higher level chess. I used to take Nikhil to the chess master. So that's how I ended up playing chess, So
Oh.
Nikhil is, 7 years younger to me. So I was having that job of driving him, riding him to the, to his chess teacher when I was younger. But I've played sport through my life, and I think generally sport. I think running a business, like, is very similar to playing sport.
Hmm.
Like, you need to understand what you're good at. Get better at it. Keep working around it. Play as a team. All of that, right? I mean, you'll probably have a self-help book which says all of this in a different way, but I think you kind of build those skill set of working as a team, etc., by playing sports. And I played football, basketball, cricket through my life, so, and so, like, personally for me, I think those games have helped a lot more than chess itself. But chess, I think, is a great game to just you know uh, get your like thinking skills going, I guess.
And the correct answer to that, which everybody wants to hear whenever they ask this chess question, is like, playing chess helps you think 3 steps ahead of the opponent. That's what they. That's the cliche answer. people always want. Okay, we have Aditya Madhuri. Hi, Aditya. How are you doing? He says, "Hi, Nithin. Big fan. Could you suggest any methods of learning to become a better trader or investor?" Saurabh, thanks for bringing Nithin. Thumbs up. No, thanks to Nithin for coming, man. It was very nice of you. Is there like, what are the any methods of learning? What do
Yeah,
you
I
recommend?
think I mean, coincidentally, we are launching a product that will help do this from Monday. But, so it might feel like a sales pitch. But yeah, so I think the first thing to do is to actually look back at your trades, right? Because a lot of people don't do that. As in, I think, if you look at the most successful musicians or sportsmen, right? They spend lots of time just looking back at what they do and improve, right? As in, find their mistakes and improve. And majority of traders don't do that. Which is, if you're taking a trade, make a note saying why are you taking a trade, right? What is the reason behind taking this trade? Then track the profitability of that trade, right? So in 3 to 6 months time, you will know what is working for you and what's not working for you, right? This whole mental, I'll remember what worked for you. I mean, there's so many biases. I don't think anyone can really remember, right? As in, so it's very important to maintain. I think the first thing to do is maintain a trading journal, which is to just start making notes for what you're taking the trade for, and why you're profitable, etc. I think the other very important thing with trading is a lot of people, when they come to stock markets, are constantly searching for what is that buy strategy and sell strategy that will make me money, right? But really, what makes you money in the markets is your risk management strategy, and not really what you want to buy or sell. You could take a coin, toss it to decide when you will buy and you will sell. You'll probably do better than a lot of people who come on TV, so right, as in, it isn't really that makes money, right? What makes money is how much money do you put, where do you cut your losses, will you let your profits run, right? Because I think most people around us, who trade the market, get influenced by the biases that we all experience and end up doing mistakes. Now, trading is a lot more about trading psychology than really your buy sell strategy. So it's very important to, I think, put in time, effort in terms of learning about money management, trading psychology, etc. But everyone wants that. They wants that great buy trade and sell trade. I mean, there's nothing like that. Unfortunately. So
Yeah.
so it's I think these two things.
Great. Kshitij Nathani had asked earlier, how will US inflation scare affect my portfolio in India and how to protect it? And will we see hyperinflation in the US? I think this is, yeah.
I mean, the like, a lot of people ask me why are stock markets so high when the economy is really nowhere of sorts, right? And I say that it's not really stock market high; it's actually your value of your money which has gone low, right?
Right.
So, right. I mean, it is. I mean, I think we are heading into a high inflationary kind of a world, and also I think what is making the stock markets to go up is also the fact that there is no alternate asset class, right? I mean, your bank fixed deposits, your government security, I mean, they're all yielding so little that people are kind of like asking the same question, which is how do I beat the inflation? And how do I beat the inflation? Probably the only real answer is to be in a certain asset, right? Like stock markets, or maybe real estate. I mean, but real estate, I think in India is already kind of seen a bull market. It's already
Yeah.
but so stock market is probably the only place that we are all assuming that will potentially be able to benefit from inflation, because inflation benefits listed companies. I mean, right? They can actually benefit when prices go up. So yeah. So I are we going to a hyperinflation phase? I think personally, I think yeah, it is. So unfortunately, but we are. So.
Okay, we'll just take this last question. I'm sorry I couldn't take a lot of your super chats, but I think this is a slightly easy one to ask for. We'll wait. Ashish Parke and somebody's been screaming. AS Beats has been screaming in the back along with Ashish Parke about that Messi T-shirt at the back.
Right. Yeah.
Like, yeah. And also I'll correct this. What has Messi taught you about trading? Like that's the connection you have to invariably make. Okay. This is the last question. Aditya Jessel says some books on trading / investing for a beginner, please. Or even actually, I would say that like for something like this, and I know that you're a fan of podcasts as well. Is
Yes.
there a podcast that you listen to? Is there, because like one of the things that I've been chasing constantly, right? Like I listen to Planet Money, I listen to Indicator, and all those things.
Right.
I've not found the Indian variant of that. So, are there any podcast books or anything like that that you would recommend to people?
No, I mean, see, the thing is, I think the best way to learn trading is to figure what some of the traders do, right?
Right.
Because a lot of us, we end up picking stuff from what a friend, because the whole trading, right? Generally, we get influenced by your friends or family to start trading, right? So you end up picking up the habits of that friends and family in terms of what he trades is what gets you started. And generally it's a wrong habit, because 99% of the people are not trading right. So I think to trade, I think the best thing to do is to pick up books which are more like autobiographies of sorts, in the sense, a good place is Market Wizards by Jack Schwager. It's like a bunch of interviews with traders from before, who talk about their, like experience of trading, what made money, what lost money, and stuff like that. There is Reminiscences of a Stock Market Operator. These are classics. I mean, Edwin Leverage, which is again, his journey as a trader. If you're trying to learn a little bit of on trading psychology, so what on Varsity, which is Zerodha Varsity, which is our education portal, what we did was we licensed this content from this. Back when I used to trade the markets in the early 2000s, there was this company called Inner Worth. Actually, they were called MarketWise, but they used to run this newsletter called Inner Worth. I mean, the most brilliant newsletters that I've read on trading psychology. So, I mean, they shut down sometime, I think 2009, 10. 3 years back, by happenstance, I came across the person who used to run MarketWise. And then I said, dude, and he had all these newsletters, lying in his inbox, as in it was not there online. So I said, no, this can't, this deserves to be out there. So we paid him some money, licensed it. And so we have, I think, this 150, 200 newsletters on trading psychology. I think it's a little out of context because it talks dollars and US stocks, etc. But you'll get the idea. You'll get the drift in terms of what each of the articles trying to say. So it's brilliant. So I think Karthik has done a great job with Varsity. So if you're trying to learn about basics of trading, fundamental, technical, and all of that, I think you could just look at Varsity and read. Now, I mean, over the last few years, I haven't really, heard podcasts on how to trade because I don't trade anymore. So, uh, but yeah, but I listen to business podcasts. But I think what has happened now is there's just too much information overload. I mean, I think this whole from time there's this lockdown, right? Like I don't know how. I'm like, dude, what do I listen to? What do I watch? What do I read? And I mean, there are like 10 different newsletters. I mean, they're all good quality. It's not like they're not good quality. They're amazing quality podcasts. And you have your son, you have your, like all these interests in life too, right? And you have to run a business. So there's only so
Yeah.
much time, right? So yeah, so it's a tough one. But I think, yeah, if you're looking at trading, maybe, what I just mentioned was.
So I'll Varsity starting next week, right?
No,
Next week.
Varsity's already been around, Varsity, and
Okay.
the next week is essentially a new utility, a new tool that allows people to maintain trading journal. So essentially, like that journal, right, which where you say why I took a trade, make a note, track its
Right. Right.
profitability. We've created like an automated tool to be able to do all of that. So,
Super. So I'll try and get the link from you and then put it in the in the description for people who want to see this later. And also the books that you mentioned, somebody can just put this in the comment and I'll try and push that up as well. And Nithin, you've been very generous with your time. I'll just end this with three compliments that have come for you from Ashish Telang, who says, Saurabh, thank you for these interesting conversations. My sister uses Zerodha for all her investments and trading. Akshay Dua, who says, hey, Nithin, really admire the way Zerodha is a fun product. No revenue targets for any employees, no advertising, and being the biggest broker, you have shown what the right mindset should be. By the way, we didn't even cover the Zerodha 6 p.m. and all that stuff. The origin of this thing was me reading that article and going like, this sounds awesome. So yeah. And Sunil R says, I work for a US based broker offshore and feel Zerodha is a superior product. If any engineer wants to join your technical team, the expectation would be, oh, so he's using this as LinkedIn. Very smart. Well done, Sunil. Good job. Nithin, this has been a pleasure, man. Thanks a lot so much for your time. Really appreciate this. Is there anything you'd like to plug? Anything you'd like to tell people to follow out there in the world? Please feel free.
I mean, I think I've said enough. So so thanks for having me on the show. So
Superb. Nitin, thanks a lot for being here and best of luck with everything. And you can end your video and your audio. I'll just read a few super chats that I had not read so far. Thanks a lot for coming. Nithin Kamath there, everyone. I'll just read a few comments that the way the super chat functions is that I can't get through all of them. Nifty Guru says, what's Nithin's opinion on the new margin requirements by SEBI? I wish I could answer that, but yeah. I took Mudit. Mudit Gami says, isn't this small case a Zerodha product? Sorry, you couldn't get that. Kajol Agarwal. Kajol is also given a super chat saying, can we all like the stream? Also join the Discord. We have quiz with members tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Oh, yeah. Please get on our Discord. Tomorrow there's going to be a quiz. I will also probably pop in for about 15-20 minutes just to say hi and hello and all those things. And thanks a lot for your super chat. Vishy91, really appreciate that. And Shivraj Khose, very nice of you. I'm sorry we couldn't get to your question. And somebody else also. Kshitij Naithani, what made you decide to short the 2008 crash? Is that something you didn't? I don't even know. I don't even know what that means, by the way. So, yeah. Last couple of things I want to mention is that keep telling me to guess who you'd like to have on the show. I will do research. I will bring them on. Nithin has been one of the people who a lot of you asked for, and I brought him in, did quite a nice amount of research, which improved my intelligence by 3% as well. Tonight, as I said, I have the Expert coming news comedy show where I'm going to be talking about all sorts of things that have been happening in the news for the last week or 10 days. Tickets are just rupees 299. It's on Book My Show, and the link is right there. Come, it's every week every Saturday we do a brand new show, which is super fun. Do subscribe to this channel. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the Friends reunion. I'm still trying to figure out which comedians to get on board. If not, then it's just going to be me and Manav Avasthi as well as Manu Vijayan just talking about that reunion, which is quite fascinating. Do give a like if you enjoyed that, and please keep telling me who to get on the show. Gautam Mishra says, Kunal Shah, please. I've asked him. I don't think he seems interested. But I will ask him again. I think that was like about 8, 9, 10 months back. Probably I'll ask him again. So yeah. Is there any chance that Radhe Bhai will promote Zerodha any day? Just confirming for future. Says Rachit Negi. I don't know who that is. Rohan Joshi. Next bring Nitin's brother. Yeah, I will do some research on that as well. Is it possible to get Messi or Ronaldo on your stream? Now you are asking for way too much. Rachit Negi says we want Rahul Subramanian. I've been talking to Rahul and KV to bring them on board. Oh my God, I think I should bring them tomorrow. Let me ask them. If they've seen the Friends reunion, it would be fun to talk to Rahul and KV about that. That's about it, guys. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Generally, if you enjoyed this, please tweet to Nithin and let him know that you had fun watching this. And again, I'll put all the links for Varsity and all the rest in the description. You guys have been really nice, man. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow and tonight for the show and tomorrow morning for the live. Take